guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, Thursday Thoughts. Your questions answered live. It's Des here, of course. Just checking in. The last evening session of the week. It's been a really busy week. Lots to do, so feel quite pleased to be sat here doing this whilst I'm always a little bit nervous. Still not quite got used to it, despite the fact I mentioned last week I've done over 365 episodes, for a daily YouTube channel. That's not bad. That's one for at least a year, although I don't do the weekend, of course. So at this point, I'm always kind of winding down, but there won't be much of that this weekend. Lots to do, lots to look forward to, lots to prepare for. Of course, it's the Robin Hood Half Marathon. I've been talking about it all week on DOdaily. Been what everything's been geared to this week. So whilst I am busy sorting out things around that, and believe me, there's lots to sort out. I've said that will become more and more apparent. I'll be doing a vlog on Sunday, so you'll see some of that. So whilst it is busy, it's something to really look forward to. It almost feels like the Do Running Home event. I live just about 100 yards from the start line. The race actually comes past my house now, just at the end of the road there. So really looking forward to being even more a part of it. Over the last few years, I've done it 4 times. It was my first half marathon. It was a place where I met Kay. Some of you might be familiar with this thing behind me. I've used it in the past. This is a bit of a montage of the day we got together. So that's really nice. That was in 2017. I did it with Do Running for the first time in 2008. Well, not for the first time, but with a big group from Do Running in 2018, and then again in 2019 before, unfortunately, the 40th celebrations were put on hold. It was my 40th year last year as well, and they was put on hold too. So if Robin Hood's 40, then so am I. Anything to take 1 or 2 off these days, I guess. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Today's show is basically lots about Robin Hood, lots of questions, lots of running related stuff. I like to think this is a bit more than running, but at times it's my real passion. It's what I do, it's what the people around me do. So it's going to be heavily sort of geared towards that. And there's nothing wrong with encouraging a bit of activity, encouraging people to look in on such things, even if they're not taking part. There's a big drive out there at the moment, whether it's through park run or other events, even myself who do running, try just to get people coming along, whether it's walking, whether it's just to enjoy the social side of things. We don't necessarily have to switch off. That's what I'm trying to say. When it becomes something that we don't do, the only way we broaden our horizons is to looking at others, be inspired by others. There's many different ways that can happen. And every week I try and find a way of speaking about different things, to encourage people to take things on board, use it relatively to them, and take it forward, because we can all do that if we open our mind up to doing it. And that's what I've tried to do through DOdaily. But like I say, today, it's all about Robin Hood. It's all about running, no apologies for that, really. It's my vlog is what I'm about, and like I say, this week has just been all about making plans, preparing for the Do Running group, of course, which I run here in Nottingham. I've mentioned it feels like our own event. We have a bit of a party every year after. This year in the Boot Room Bar in Trent Bridge, where we base ourselves for our Wednesday and Sunday groups normally. So that's only a few yards away. Everybody's invited. Whether they do running or not, it's just a great occasion where there's lots of runners celebrating what they do and still within this locality, and that's why it's absolutely amazing to me. All of that, all of the Do Running connection, and of course meeting Kate, and the fact that it was my very first half marathon. I spoke about my experience on yesterday's vlog. It was a little bit of a preview vlog for this weekend's race. A few ideas on how to approach it. A few mentions of where I got it wrong. More than where I got it right, to be honest. It's not the easiest race in the world, but it's a great one to be involved in. And there is ways you can just tackle it a little bit differently and and really, really enjoy it. Sometimes with these things, we don't enjoy it quite as much as we should, and we end up sort of feeling a bit off with it afterwards, or not quite. There's no need for that. Getting through 13.1 miles, doing a half marathon, ticking it off, whether it's just a once or however many times you do them. I'm not sure what I'm up to now. However many times you do them, it's fantastic, isn't it? Because it's just such an achievement. Not many people do a half marathon. Not many people get up and do a part one in comparison to those that don't. Of course, lots of people do these things. It's not an isolated achievement, but everything's personal to the individual, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? So, like I say, trying to inspire people here, trying to encourage people to get involved in such things, or just use what we're saying to be inspired. And that leads me nicely into last week's throwback question. What are your personal goals for the rest of the year? John left me this question this week. And what I will say before I do get into this, if you've got any comments to make, please pop them down below. I'll pick up any questions. I'll try to answer them live if I get to them on time. I'd love to sort of see what you've got and give it a real go. Don't try and trip me up too much, will you? But in terms of last week's throwback question, what are your personal goals for the rest of the year? It was John who left it. John responded as well. He's looking to work at his 5K time, which is a great achievement, isn't it? I know John is doing the Robin Hood Half Marathon. He's also doing Manchester Marathon. So he's probably looking to drop the miles after that and work to a different kind of goal. That's good, isn't it? Because it kind of varies things up. Don't get too repetitive. It don't get too sort of too much. I won't say too much hard work, because it's always hard work. But just working to different things at different times. Perhaps this time next year we're working back towards half marathons and marathons. It's just nice to mix it up sometimes. Take a bit of a break from the longer distances. Anna and Ian both signed up to do the Clown Half Marathon with myself and lots of the Do Running guys. Really enjoyable event. I like that personally because it's almost like signing off for the year. It's the end of November up in North Notts. I always think it's Christmas after that. I refuse to admit it before then. But it's a great half marathon. These guys have signed up for it. They've both got marathons they're training for as well. So they're looking to drop the distance back down and perhaps work on the half marathon time. And that's great as well, isn't it? It's brilliant to go at. And Dawn, she's going for a sub 35k. She got PB yesterday, so well done for that. But she's looking to get sub 30. It's proving a little bit elusive at the moment. But once again, after these half marathons are out of the way, perhaps we can do some training geared towards working on that. Thanks for the responses to those. Like I say, it's just ideas, just throwing things out there, But it also gives those individuals that little bit of accountability to look back and say, well, this is what I said I was going to do. I work with many of those guys doing a little bit of coaching on a Thursday evening, and we're talking about goals and targets all the time. I'm looking to implement that more and more because I know when there is something to work to, whether it's Robin Hood Half Marathon or something you say, me personally, people might question why I do it, but I put stuff on social media because then people will ask me a question, did you do that? Did you do that? And I won't say it's pure stubbornness or arrogance. I just want to do it. If I say I'm going to do it, that's what targets are all about, aren't they? I want to tick it off and move forward. And that's all I'm trying to do there is help them guys add a little bit of accountability, but also give other people ideas of what's possible and how they can go about it. Thanks for that input. Thanks to those who popped in questions today. Like I say, it's heavily geared towards Robin Hood. Do comment on any of these if you've got anything to add yourself. I'll try and read them out. Try and work my way around the screen. Not fully adept at it yet, but I'll do the best I can. I normally forget that one, but there you go. All the links to the social media are there. And of course, please like and subscribe. Help me build the channel. Got a nice uptake in subscribers this week. Really pleased. Creeping up slowly. Been on a lot of other YouTube channels. I'm sure that's helping as well. So it's really good to sort of talk and get a little bit more confident on on being in front of the camera, and that's all I'm trying to do is sort of develop, and whilst these questions I don't always get out what I want to, I really appreciate getting them, so thanks for all the input again. Moving into the first question, it comes from Kay. Of course, Kay. No, that's me. I do that every single time. Kay. She's got a half marathon. She's got this half marathon, and she's training for the marathon as well. We're all working to similar targets. So she's asked the question, if you have a half marathon event 2 weeks before a marathon, what should your plan of attack be? Well, in normal circumstances, don't do a half marathon race before a full marathon 2 weeks later. It doesn't really fit in with the training plan, but I can totally understand why these guys are doing it. I was down to do it myself. Fortunately, the injury is not going to get me through the full marathon. It really would give up. But because of COVID, because of the restrictions, everything's come back together. So it's just about trying to be a little bit cuter with the way you do it. Personally, in this situation right now, knowing how well Kay's going, I'd probably say that she should almost just try and test the race pace a little bit. A marathon pace, sorry. Try and test marathon pace, and not necessarily PB half marathons, although she did do that a couple of weeks ago at the Great North and absolutely obliterated it. But it might be one where you could really work, having done that, especially at the Great North Run and got that amazing achievement. It might be one where you could work on your marathon pace, just to know how you're going to feel halfway through. If you get halfway through feeling confident and comfortable, it's going to get... it's going to give you the confidence to take into the second half of the marathon. So for me, it'd be all about working at marathon pace, whilst it's probably not quite the amount of miles you do, just before you taper. It's still going to be a good test. It's still going to give you all that sort of race experience. No matter how many of these you do, you kind of take something from every single race. Like myself, Kay's done many, but there's always something different happening. Whether it's the weather being a bit, it's looking like it's going to be warm this week, or it might be raining, or, all these things matter on the day. You can take something forward from every race. So just be aware of what's happening. Don't sort of throw yourself into it. Put your head down, go and get that PB. Get upset if you don't do it. All these things that can distract us. Just sort of use it as an experience, use it as a lesson, pick your head up, take it all in, take in what's happening with what you're doing before the start, what's happening during the race, what the weather's doing, what you're doing after, how you're recovering. Those type of things can be crucial when you're coming into that biggest of sort of distance races, and that's what Kay's coming up to. So hopefully that gave you a few ideas, gave you something to go at. Got a question just popped in. From Dore on Tour. Please give him a follow, especially if you have a forest persuasion. A lot of that talking I've been doing on YouTube is on his channel. I think I'm his resident guest. Just kidding. So I think that's to say, how are you preparing for those hills? He's done Robin Hood Half Marathon twice himself, and he mentioned to me in a conversation that he went up by the castle. If you watched the vlog yesterday, you'll understand the bit I'm talking about. There's a really steep bit in front of Nottingham Castle where you have to climb. What I tend to do, and I've been advising the guys of this evening, is I try and really focus on the crowds. Some of the tougher parts of Robin Hood, some of the hillier parts, whether it's at the castle, whether it's in Woollerton Park, where there's another real sort of short, sharp climb, it is really well spectated. So I try and really look at people, smile at people, thank them for the support. There's always people shouting your name, rather than sort of think about the hill in front of me and what I've got to do. And before you know it, if you're feeling good and looking at people and getting all that great spirit and sort of working off their energy, you're at the top of the hill. And then when it comes to that, you've got opportunity to get your breath back and go again. The crowds after those hills, whilst it's still great support, they're not quite as deep and not quite as loud. So it's worth just working off all that energy. That's how I try to attack them. Thanks for the comment, Dore. Thanks for getting involved this evening. Moving on to question 2. that was question 2. He crept in before there with that. So moving on to question 3, sorry. What's your favourite memory from Robin Hood? Well, I touched on it at the start, didn't I? You know, and I've spoke about it through the vlog as well yesterday. Got so much to remember it by. I'm an ambassador for the event as well. You know, I get to sort of spread the word about how much I enjoy it and what the guys are doing in organising and planning things. The favourite memory has to be this one. I couldn't say anything else. I'll get in trouble, which it definitely is anyway. You know, this for me was an absolute game changer. You know, somebody who started running on their own, you know, and took a lot from it. You know, it moved me from one place to another, you know, and really enjoyed it. But sometimes at the end of races, I touched on it before the Great North Run, it was great to have the endorphins flowing and feel like I'd achieved something, but I didn't quite have the celebrations I have these days with Kay, and then that leads on to friends as well. And having somebody who shares something that I loved, you know, and that we both love together, it's really important. So meeting Kay, you know, at Robin Hood, that one's extra special. You know, we've had this nice little thing done to sort of celebrate the occasion. I'll just show you it fully there. You know, that's from 2017. So that's a really special moment. And then, like I say, even with the others, becoming an ambassador for the 2018 event and all the sort of running club activity we do around it as well, that's really important too. So it's got to be that one, Ian. You know, hopefully this Sunday there's going to be even more memories made. You never know what's going to happen on the day. Like I say, it's all about the experience. It's all about sort of taking it all in, you know, and making the absolute most of it. There might be, not for me personally, there might be PBs, there might be people doing things that they never thought they'd do, might be people doing it for the first time. So it would be great to see all that, to enjoy it again, you know, after that break due to COVID. Got another comment. She's out and about walking, as she tends to do on a Thursday evening, and she said that's the correct answer. Oh, thank God for that. She's gonna feed me tonight after this video. So moving on to question 4. Do you think they should bring back the full Robin Hood half marathon? This is from Hannah. It's an interesting question, and despite the fact I'm an ambassador, I have nothing to do with this kind of thing. I just help sort of spread the word and be somebody who talks about it a little bit more often than anybody else. You know, I've got no sort of input. I believe the reason they don't do the marathon was just simply because of uptake. The numbers didn't really justify it, you know, and this, like I say, all this is my sort of thoughts. I don't know anything around it for sure. I think it was down to numbers and the fact it went off further into the city, and almost sort of justifying it on that basis was the reason they couldn't anymore. So do I think they should? Of course, everything's got to be worthwhile. So for those reasons, possibly not. If there's not going to be the uptake, it'd be nice to think Nottingham had a marathon, you know, just like I want every other running event in Nottingham as well. I want a 10K, I want a big 5K, I want everything else, because I love running events, you know. So, like I say, it's a tough one for me to answer because I have got a small connection with them, and I do understand some of the reasons it's not there. But if we had a Robin Hood half marathon, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? You know, it used to go through the city centre. I had a conversation about this not too long ago, and I'd love to run right through the heart of the market square. But the reality is the route is what it is. You know, it's not changed for so many years because it's amazing. Again, referring to that vlog, unashamedly, check it out. You know, it passes some amazing parts of the city. It's got to take in the castle, you know, weaves its way through the park, and that's really nice and a beautiful place to run through before heading to Woollerton Park, which is an amazing place, and then turning back. And for as long as 13.1 miles is, it can't visit everywhere in one journey. So yeah, I really enjoy it. And of course the embankment, you know, even more so now, Olivia, is a fantastic place to finish, isn't it? You know, whilst it could be moved, you know, why would you? All that space down by the river, you know, all these sort of places we can go after to celebrate. It's absolutely brilliant, something I really, really enjoy. So hopefully that gave you a bit of an idea of some of my thoughts around the Robin Hood, even more so than I've spoke about this week. I'll be, for those locally, I'll be on Radio Nottingham in the morning actually talking about the event. They've asked me to do a little piece for that. I'll be meeting the guy down by the river. So really looking forward to that. Do tune in if you can. Whilst I'm not so sure how this is going, sometimes obviously somebody's picking up on it somewhere, and I'm still trying to build it. I'm still trying to do what I can. It's definitely not perfect, especially on a Thursday. We're looking to do one or two more things next week on a Thursday, perhaps improve the viewer experience. So tune in for that one. Mr. Dore's going to help me with that. So I really appreciate his support and his ongoing support in trying to get me a few subscribers here and there, mainly football fans who probably aren't even that interested in running, but it's just about supporting each other, isn't it? And doing what we can to help each other out. And that's all I'm trying to do here. All the running I do, all the sort of work for Robin Hood or for Do Running or whoever, for the boot room, for absolutely anybody, where we try and put things on for other people to make the absolute most of it. Don't really benefit from it financially or with huge reward, but it's about being enthusiastic, positive about the things I do to help others feel a lot better. Spoke about a time there when I was not so good, when I was going to these events and it wasn't the experience it is today. So if you've got people who enjoy it, people you love around you, how good is that? If I could see forward from where I was then, I'd have been really, really excited about what was coming. So why wouldn't I be excited now? Let's not take things for granted. The race is back. Running's back. Do running's back. Group activity. Let's keep enjoying what we've got. Group sessions, group activity, mass participation events. I did a blog somewhere about mass participation. Can't even say it. I did a blog before I started vlogging about mass participation events and how important they are. I'll try and dig that out and put it in the comments. Please have a read if you find that kind of thing interesting. I was on my soapbox a little bit about the fact that councils and cities don't appreciate the value of them. What a day it's going to be in the city. A place I loved, in my mind, I think a local radio station coined it a good few years ago, the world's best city. It definitely is. And to go out and run it and experience it and see people out celebrating, especially after COVID, especially after the last 16, 18 months, why wouldn't you go out and do it? So it's not all about the running, come down, spectate, cheer people on. I said it at the end of the vlog yesterday, people like myself who do run take so much from that side of it as well, and you'll feel fantastic for doing it. It's a wholly uplifting experience that you won't regret. What I will say just before I go, we've also got a group of guys volunteering. I'm not going to ask for any more at this stage. We've got a group of Do Running guys volunteering. Really, really appreciate the fact they're doing that as well. Seeing them. Station 20. I think that's probably about 20k as well. I'm not sure about that, but whatever the reason is called that, we'll enjoy seeing them and we'll take so much from it just to get us through. So like I say, there's lots of ways to get involved in these things. Whilst I'm always encouraging activity and participation, there's different ways. And again, there's different ways to be inspired. And that's all I've really got to say on it for now. Like I say, tune in for the radio if you are local, if you can. I'm sure I can share it on my channel tomorrow. Please check in for that. Because of that, Wake Up to Walk will be slightly different, but there will be a Wake Up to Walk. I'll just have to get up as early as I would have anyway and get out and about. It might be a little bit dark, might be a little bit chilly, but coming to terms with the day, coming to terms with everything I've got to do in preparation. Believe me, there's still lots to do, and like I said, there'll be lots more to sort of review and look back on. But I'll be looking forward to that tomorrow. I'll be talking about the importance of getting up, attacking things, not letting things get on top of me. It's definitely important this week. So I'll be doing that. I'll be back in the morning from 7 a.m. Hopefully I can get the vlog on early and then do what I've got to do. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions, please email me, des@dorunning.org.uk. Anything about Robinhood, anything about the videos this week, anything about the event itself, or anything that crops up through DOdaily going forward, or just anything at all. You've heard me today as I like to be honest about when times weren't quite so good, you know, why I do certain things, why things are important to me these days. You know, I'm prepared to answer absolutely anything. I can only do it with your questions, guys, so please pop them in. Once again, thank you to everybody that's got involved. Really appreciate the support. One of my biggest supporters has left a comment, as she always does. Great Q&A, Coach. Is there a throwback question? There is, but I'm not going to post it now. Check out the DOdaily social media. I've got just the thing. I've just got to find something. You know, it's going to be something a little bit different, but I'll have it all sort of ready for tomorrow and for the weekend, and give people a chance to have a go at it through the social media. Of course, all those links are at the bottom of the screen there. You know, so please like, subscribe to the channel. I don't want to beg, just do it. Just doing it, as we always say. But also the social media, like I say, going to try and mix things up a little bit next week. So check back in tomorrow morning, and then next week on Thursday Thoughts, I'll be looking to answer all your questions again. Just doing it.